And here I am. Yes, you've managed to tune in. Hey, see, you're just doing a bit of tuning there. Just tuned in to episode 2 or Bollocks Radio for December 2018, as it will probably be known by the time I post this up. So welcome to the second episode of me playing music. That's it, really. Just having a little bit of a chat about music in general, playing some tunes that I like by bands I like. Hopefully you like them too. And even if you don't, at least you'll hear stuff and think, oh, I've never heard that band before. Oh, now I've heard them. I know I don't like them. That's cool. I've done you a favour, you know. That's the way I see it anyway. And without further ado, because this is a music show, I want to get to the first band. I've been listening to a bit of New York hardcore over the last few weeks, which is a bit of a love of mine. Agnostic Front, Cause for Alarm really blew the doors open to that world many years ago, and Crumbsucker's Life of Dreams, and I will be. I'll be playing some bits and pieces. I am going to mix it up. It's not all going to be New York hardcore. I'm going to mix in some other stuff there as well. So, you know, if it ain't your thing, then just hang fire and have a listen, okay? First band up is Sick of It All, who I got into on their very first album, and I haven't really kept up with their career. First album, self-titled album, is just an absolute classic. Totally blew me away when I first heard it all those years ago. Just, you know, straight away I was just like, wow, this is a bit special. And when you've got an instrumental called the G.I. Joe Head Stomp, then you know what I mean. It's that kind of album just makes you go, what? I also bought the very first 7-inch of Madball, which I believe was Sick of It All, with Freddie on vocals. As just a young lad, a very young lad. I don't know how old he was on it, but he was very young. I'm talking like, you know, sort of, you know, 10 or something like that. It was something really stupid. But anyway, yeah, always been a love of mine. Just for hearing Agnostic Front for the first time, it was just Cause for Alarm. Just hearing that it was the raw punkiness, but the slightly more sort of a little bit of a metal edge, and it was when, you know, New York hardcore was becoming, it was starting to adopt metal overtones, and it sort of roped me in. I mean, I like my punk anyway, you know, Dead Kennedys and Early Descendants is very punky, and so, you know, it was just something that really caught my ears. So these guys have been catching my ears again all these years later. This is the opening track of Sick of It All's new album, which is called Wake the Sleeping Dragon, and this is called In a Vision.
Manipulation.
what is there to not like about that? I mean, attitude, power, speed, riffs, we got 'em. I mean, it is just, that is fucking ass kicking. And to keep up the theme, well, I've already mentioned it. Why don't we all have a little bit of a G.I. Joe head stomp? Now, if that hasn't just made you want to dive off the sofa and smash a load of shit up, I don't know what will. Just absolute class. And you know, just those beats and those changes and the ludicrous speed, it was kind of like, it was appealing to somebody who was into thrash metal, but it was also something that was completely different. And I don't know why I said thrash metal, because it's thrash metal. A bit strange, but yeah, I mean, as you can see, hopefully you might be able to hear why I like it or not. You know, you might be listening to that and think, oh fucking hell, that's awful. Well, look, I am going to progress along this journey with a little bit more hardcore, but it's going to kind of start getting. I'm kind of apologising in advance if you're a big metalhead and this is not your thing. We will get there. We are going to be getting there, but I'm going to take you on a journey. So, you know, don't just flick through and fast forward. Go on the journey, because we're going to get, you know, a little bit. We're going to keep getting a little bit more metal as we go along. So, you know, I just want to. I mean, I thought about doing, you know, a hardcore special, and I thought no, and then I thought about doing a cover version special and an instrumental special. I just thought, you know what I mean, let's just keep it all a mixture, and so there's a little bit of something for everybody, and you know, you get to appreciate each other's tunes or not, as the case may be. Who knows? But you know, look, as previously mentioned, there is one band who just really totally got me into all of this kind of stuff, and that was The Boys Agnostic Front. And I just, something about Cause for Alarm that just really, really appealed to me. And this track was quite controversial at the time, and it's still probably quite controversial. And this one is called Public Assistance. Okay, so there you go. That is Public Assistance from the album Cause for Alarm from 1986. I bought that, and 1 year later we were on the same label. Well, not exactly the same label. They were on Rough Justice, and we were on Under One Flag, but it was all part of Music for Nations. So yeah, I mean, just all part of my incredible journey, kids. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, it's so great being me. It was. I mean, look, that's a dream, isn't it, for anybody? And never a day goes by that I don't think, wow, that was pretty fucking awesome. And still is. So moving on, more New York hardcore. Don't worry, guys, it is going to get more metal, okay? And I mean, if you're into thrash, you can't be fucking complaining at any of this, because it's all fucking heavy and fast as fuck. But you can see though on Agnostic Front there the difference obviously between thrash and there is the roots being in hardcore, the roots being in punk do mean that sometimes the musicianship is maybe not as quite as precise as we used to in metal, but I kind of like that. I just love the rawness. And, you know me and raw, folks. That's why there's never any editing going on anywhere. I do love a bit of raw. On to another standout hardcore album. And we're going to start getting slightly more metal after this. But these are two tracks from the legendary Life of Dreams album by the Crumbsuckers. And what would have opened up side 2 back in the day. First song is Super Tuesday, and second song is Schitt's Creek. There you go, get some Crumbsuckers in your ears, guys. 2 songs there, which is probably the equivalent of one short song by a metal band. Some great energy again, awesome lyrics. I love that line about saw you in the creep, saw you bobbing in the creep with shit in your eyes. It's fucking great. I love that lyric. And speaking of lyrics, hold on to your fucking hats, because the song you're about to hear, well, you know, if easily offended, best fuck off now. This is a band called Carnivore. Now, the most famous thing about Carnivore is that they were founded by Peter Steele, as he was called back in these days. The album is from 1987. It follows up the first album, Carnivore. This was the second album, called Retaliation, which absolutely blew me away. Absolutely loved it. It was on constant rotation. I remember I had it on a flip side of a cassette. I had this album on one side and Terrible Certainty by Creator on the other. And I was going out with this girl called Wendy, and I used to walk to her house, which was it was about a 45-minute walk. And I used to listen to one side of the cassette on the way there and one side of the cassette on the way back. And it was just, it'll always remind me of that walk for some reason, these tunes, which is it's what music does, isn't it? It's the soundtrack to our lives, folks. It's the soundtrack to our lives. Come on now. But, you know, it's amazing how some albums will just always be attached to a particular time or whatever it is. It's incredible. So, Peter Steele, who went on to do Typo Negative and die relatively young. For me, this was the best thing he ever did. Now, I did warn you about the content of this song. For a start, it's called Race War. Hello! Warning! Warning! Snowflakes, tune out now! Now, I'd like to say that the lyrics are, he's playing a role. He's talking about what it would be like if there was a race war, and he's playing a role, folks. But, I mean, there's the first bit, which will pretty much prick your ears up. But there is a lyric when the first verse starts proper, where he says, "Don't call me your brother, 'cause I ain't your fucking brother." I'm not going to do the next line because you're going to hear it. Because if you think that's bad, just wait till the line that follows. I mean, it is him playing a role. They're not to be taken literally. So now you will see that it's a very interesting band, very original band. It's very broke up after this. Oh, and yeah, sorry guys, I did say The Haunted had broken up. No, they've done 2 albums since the last album I played you. So my apologies for that, and thank you to a number of people who pointed that out. But yeah, Carnivore. This was awesome. I love this. It's in some places it's just total New York hardcore. In some places it's metal. In some places it hints at what he was going to go on to do with Typo Negative, and it's a little bit more grandiose. We're getting a little bit more metal as we go. This one from Carnivore, Retaliation, which I think has just been remastered again and re-released, so I'll be looking for that. And this is called Race War.
This is the United States of America, and you got a right to hate who you want, so let's start busting heads. Black against white, yellow versus red, the fight won't stop.
So there's Pete Steele and Carnivore giving you both barrels there. Incredibly original. Loads going on there. Loads to break down. Loads to unpack. Which I'm not going to do because I think it's like you heard the tunes. You make of them what you will. But yeah, ferocious stuff. I've got to say, guys, I'm really enjoying doing this as well because it's all these songs are bringing loads of memories back as I bored you earlier with the walk to Wendy's house and all the rest of it. Who, funnily enough, ended up having a child with Gaz of Acid Rain and Cathedral. Just thought I'd throw that in there. What's coming next? Well, we're starting to get a little bit more metal, as you've noticed, and hopefully you have noticed, and I've been fucking telling you as well, so that's a clue. And we're now going into the next wave of kind of hardcore, and these are bands who came out a little bit later. Now, this is from, I shit you not, one of the greatest debut albums to ever be released. The album is called River Runs Red, and the band is Life of Agony. And I don't care if you've heard Life of Agony before, listen to this if you haven't heard it. If you've never heard any Life of Agony, you're in for a treat. The reason I say it's one of the greatest debut albums ever, it's a concept album for a start. These guys were very young when they wrote it. It's about depression. There is answer phone messages between a few songs, and you just basically hear this guy's life get worse and fucking worse as the album goes on. But the album is so damn good that it is not depressing. It is absolutely superb. And whilst this guy is going through depression, this song gives him a lift. And this song is called Words and Music. What more do you need to know than obviously he's being lifted up? And just the way this song comes in straight away, you're going to go, wow, is that hardcore? Because the vocals are like, almost sort of, I don't know, almost, well, not poppy, but just kind of atmospheric, and something that you would have associated with almost kind of indie and goth around the time. And it is so fucking heavy as well. The metal influences have started to come through. So this is kind of like the second wave. And this, without further ado, as I'm often heard to be said, this is Words and Music from the album The River Runs Red by Life of Agony.
There's something wrong with me. Last
how fucking crushing is that riff that comes in after the vocal intro. You know, is there something wrong with me? Last. I mean, it's just, I mean, I know you've only just heard it, but fucking hell! That is just a pounding motherfucker of a riff. What a groove! What a groove! And you know the changing of grooves, and it is the album is that good. Yeah, that's a good track. But I was really stuck for which song to play off that album. It is that good. So if you like that, you need to purchase. I mean, I've got the what's it called? I've got the top shelf edition. I know that sounds like some sort of porn version. It's not, I assure you. And it's the double disc remastered version of it, which I can heartily recommend. But just however you get it, get Life of Agony, River Runs Red. It's an all-time classic. And the year on that, seeing as how we seem to be doing the year, or rather I seem to be doing the years on these, was 1993. So yeah, a little bit of a gap there. And funnily enough, I'm gonna go straight to a band who are not new school. In fact, a little bit, well, not new school. This is Corrosion of Conformity, but it's an example of how hardcore bands, and certainly Corrosion, were a lot punkier than most. And this was their first fully fledged kind of more metal album. This is the first album with Pepper Keenan on it. It's the only album with Carla Gell on it, who sang on it. And I did interview him on my podcast, Talking Bollocks. If you don't know about it, go get there. And I met him around that time as well when they came to a show on our Obnoxious tour at the London Marquee. But the reason I'm going to play this, and again, if you've heard Corrosion recently, or you know, and you're like, oh no, I'm not into that southern rock thing. Whoa, you're in for a surprise. For me, the best album, Head and Shoulders, Corrosion of Conformity, have ever done. It has never been surpassed. I mean, it includes the classic Vote with a Bullet, which you can find the video for that on YouTube. I am not going to go down that route. I am going to go for. There's so many good tracks on this album. But I'm going to go for, yeah. This is from Corrosion of Conformity, Blind, and this is White Noise. Well, isn't that just the best COC song that you have never heard before? Yeah, I mean, if you're aware of the beauty that is Blind, then you probably just enjoyed hearing that again. If you're unaware of the album, well, you are now, so you have no excuse for not going out and getting it. And again, that was another one that I was looking through and thinking, do you know what? I'm struggling to pick a song here because they're all so fucking good. And that is kind of like our journey all the way to metal. And I'm now gonna take us. Do you know what? I've got 4 songs that I really want to play you. That aren't that I wouldn't say are metal. They are more hardcore. So just fucking suck it up. There'll be some metal coming soon. Or do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll play a bit of metal because you've had a fair amount of hardcore to go for. I'm going to put those 4 aside, okay? And I'm going to play some metal just to make you feel a little bit better if you just want in a little bit, especially after that little taster from Corrosion Conformity. So you've got you kind of, I've got you moist for metal, really, haven't I? Moist for metal. Oh dear, moist for metal. That has got to be, that's my new catchphrase. Okay, well, you don't get more metal than this. I am not going to say who it is, though, because that might put some people off before it is. So just listen to it and check it out and judge it. Stand alone, stand or fall on its own. So I can just imagine some of you after that absolutely ripping, so metal intro. And then some of you going, oh my God, it's Dream Theater. No! And yes, that was Dream Theater. And to be fair, the song is called As I Am. And the lyrics, it's just basically, if you listen to it, it's all about, like, you know, they're getting advice from everybody saying, oh, you know, write shorter songs, do this, do that. And it's just them, just basically like the chorus, you know, take me as I am. And it's a great album, Train of Thought. There's only 7 songs on it. Got a sticker on it, actually. It says, the new progressive metal masterpiece from Dream Theater. So yeah, I mean, it's an excellent album for me. Probably their last decent album, just some absolute awesome metal on it. And speaking of which, here is another awesome metal album that unfortunately is universally written off because of its dreadful production. And to be honest, the production's not dreadful. The drums sound good. Sorry, let me just correct that. The guitar sounds good, the bass sounds good, the vocal sounds good, the bass drum sounds good, the toms and the snare not so much, and it detracts from what is an absolutely superb album. This is by Flotsam and Jetsam from the album When the Storm Comes Down, and this is called Suffer the Masses.
2 days early, where ministers spent an hour discussing proposals to allow up to 225,000 Hong Kong residents to settle here.
To show that we can forget within a few months what happened.
Killed last week, along with cocaine kingpin Jose Rodriguez Concha, has been identified as another leader of the Medellin drug cartel. Pray.
Because the repression has been.
Everything turns pink. Will gather inside the churches. The faithful will gather inside the church. The faithful will gather inside the churches, and they'll pray.
machine that's run so long.
is one of the many reasons why I'm favourite vocalists. What a fucking ending, what a note, and the fact he's just still got air to shriek out at the end there. Fucking superb. But anyway, okay, guys, I'm going to save all that. I'm going to save the hardcore bits and pieces for next month and continue your education. But I'm going to finish off now with a little bit more metal, and this is going to surprise some people. This is from the very first Tool album called Opiate. Now, for a start, the song's only 4 minutes and 22 seconds long, and it's live. And just check it out, because there is so much passion in the delivery, the musicianship, the whole thing. I wouldn't call it thrash, but it's nowhere near what Tool have become and what they are, what they are now, this big sort of slow, ploddy, proggy beast. This is fucking cool. And if you listen to this and you kind of, you've been listening to the hardcore stuff earlier, and you can kind of see almost a connection. Maynard's vocals are excellent on it. It's clearly about some people they really fucking hate and have been having an argument with. And just the delivery and everything. Seriously, even if you're like really not a Tool fan, give it a listen, because this is not what you know as Tool. And that's it, really. This is the end of the second episode of Radio Bollocks. This is for December 2018, and so I may as well say Happy Christmas whenever you're hearing this. Of course, it's not going to make any sense to anybody who's not listening to it in December or before Christmas, but fuck it, that's just the way of the world. That's the way the internet works. Have a good Christmas. All the best to all of you. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll be back next month. And this is Tool from the album Opiate, and the song is called Jerk Off.
Used to be a bunch of assholes that lived in this part of the building here. But we systematically removed them like you would any kind of termite or roach.
There's a right and wrong. Punishment was your
what's right. It's only wrong if you get caught, if consequences dictate my course of action. I should play God and just shoot you,